Hey guys, this is Ryan. In this video, I'm going to be covering questions to ask on your sales calls to prospective PPC clients. This should work for SEO calls as well as Facebook ads, as well as social media management, web design, whatever service you're offering. But this video is going to be tailored to Google ad services and the questions that you want to ask beforehand before selling a client, just to make sure that you're working with the right people in the first place. It also helps to frame you as an expert in your field. And it also helps that prospect to think properly around advertising, just so they have the right expectations. So the sales process that I use is three-part. There's going to be 3 calls. The first part is going to be a discovery call, which is going to be a short 5 to 15 minute chat quickly, just to qualify businesses, whether or not they are the right fits for my services and people I actually want to work with. So this is a buyer frame where you're actually not pitching anything on this call. You're just scanning. So you're treating this as you are a doctor diagnosing a patient for a certain disease. You just want to see where their mind is at, what their history has been with running advertising in online marketing, where their expectations are, their mindset, and where they're looking to go. So then the next stage is going to be the consultation. This is going to be more strategic focus and detailed focus. You're going to be talking more about the numbers of that business, their needs, their goals, and defining those, and then coming up with some sort of strategic offer that you can give them that really suits those needs. And then the third call is going to be a sales presentation, where you're actually giving a presentation of the service package offering that you're offering that client, the different options, the pricing, the features, the process, how this integrates with their business, what they can expect, next steps, payments, etc. So the questions are going to be asked in the discovery and consultation for the most part, so we're going to be covering those. In the discovery call, quick note, these are just categorical questions that you want to be asking. You also want to be following up on each one. So for this first one, why are they interested in pursuing PPC advertising? You want to ask follow-ups to things that they come up with. Let that person just go off on this broad question. The reason it's broad is so you can capture a lot of information about their needs and goals very quickly in a short amount of time. So you want to let that prospect talk a lot during this and prompt them to continue talking. They should be doing most of the talking on the discovery call. So why are they interested in PPC advertising, and what has brought them to this point where they want to run Google ads? This will tell you a lot about their goals, mindset, expectations, etc. You can also get a sense of limiting beliefs by asking about what they have heard others say about Google ads. And the thing here is a little trick, because they are going to tell you what they think about Google ads based off of what others are saying. They're using others are saying this as a way to say what they want to say without them saying it. Have they run advertising online or offline for their business? And this is important because they'll understand the process of running advertising. They'll have an advertising mindset and know what sort of metrics to be tracking. And they can tell you what went right and what went wrong. So follow up with these questions about what did you like about it? What didn't you like about it? Same thing with the next one. Have you hired anyone to run these services for you in the past? How was that relationship? What did you like about that relationship? What worked? What didn't? How much are you looking to budget towards advertising? This is important just to get a sense of what their risk aversion is, how big of a company it is. And so if they give you a number that is relatively high, then you know that this business has, they're probably profitable, they got capital, they might have the right expectation. Who knows? Some people are just overly aggressive. So you want to define that as well. But I would rather get clients who are overly aggressive than under aggressive, and a lot of them are usually under aggressive. So if you have like a solo operator who's maybe a hardscape contractor, if he came to me and said, I'm willing to spend like $10 to $20 a day, that's $300 to $600 a month on this, I probably would deny that account. I wouldn't move that to a consultation call, just because that's too small of an account for me to work with. In which case I would just tell him that exactly that. I would just be honest. It's too small of an account for me to work with. It may not be worth it for him to hire me, because my pricing won't make sense for the amount of leads that he gets. What areas are they looking to target for their ads? This will give some context to the budget question, because if they're only looking to promote a couple of their services and they're targeting only a few areas, then it may make sense to have a smaller budget. So you may have taken that as a high risk aversion, but really they're just focusing on a few different things. So that gives some context to that. Plus, these 2 questions will help you to dig in a little bit more on their marketing campaign, so you can go into the next call with more information. So the way that you line up the consultation call is you say, hey, I think you're a good fit based off of these questions. I think what we should do is, since I don't have enough time for this call to go into details, I'll jump in to your business a little bit. I'll do a little bit of competitive research, and let's set up a consultation call, a little bit longer than this, and we'll go into the details about like some numbers of your business, what you're looking to promote. We'll talk about strategy, goals, etc. We set that, and we'll go from there. Right, so that's how I'd lay up the consultation call. Longer or shorter, depending on how you talk, doesn't matter. Or I'll deny them flat out just by saying the reason why I won't work with that client. All right, so for a consultation call, this is going to be longer, 20 to 45 minutes, and you're really getting a sense of their KPIs, the goals, their needs, their expectations, time frame, everything. First category of questions I ask is, what is their ideal customer? So what is the services that their ideal customers are usually purchasing? Are there any services that they want to focus promotion on because they're higher ROI than any of their other ones? And that will bring you also into a conversation about what their sales process is too. So then that will lead into, okay, what is your sales process across the majority of your services? Pretend that I'm a customer of yours. What would that look like? I would go to your website, and what would I do? Would I phone call you? Would I put it in a form submission? Would I chat with you online? What generally happens there? They'll tell you, okay, once I'm chatting with you online, where do you move it from there? What stage? So go into that as deeply as you can to define what that is, the different offers for their sales process, the different stages, and how they move from each, and then the mediums that people are using to get from each stage to the next. So that could be phone calls, form submissions, chats, etc. Then that leads into lifetime customer value. You've already talked about the ideal customer, the top services, the sales process, that workflow. Now you want to talk about, what is the lifetime customer value? Do your customers come back recurring very often? Do your customers upsell or cross-sell to different services? If so, do you know the percentages of those? Do you have a general sense of what the lifetime customer value is for on average across your business? If yes, awesome, that means they've thought about it. If no, not necessarily the end of the world, but it does show that they haven't really thought about that, and that could be a red flag on top of a bunch of different other things. But lifetime customer value can be hard for some industries, but if you can get that prospect to at least agree on call what their lifetime customer value is around a certain range of that, then you can work it backwards some more and now talk about, okay, so knowing this, what are your profit margins and how much are you willing to spend on your marketing, your advertising to acquire a customer on just the marketing side of things. So if it's a larger business or corporation, a larger corporation that has an understanding of percentages, they might give you like, we're willing to spend 15%, 20% on advertising. Others might just have an actual number. They might say, I'm willing to spend $1,000 to get a new customer because my roofs cost $10,000 plus and my profits on that are like $5,000. So I'm willing to give up 20% of that, right? So that's how the two different types of businesses will talk about it. Once you get down to these numbers, this is awesome because already the business is thinking in a way that most businesses don't. They look at the lead cost first, and then they think about like lifetime customer value. You want to start lifetime customer all the way down to lead cost. And so that contrast will make the lead cost from Google Ads a lot easier for them to handle. So it frames this correctly. Then you want to ask, how many new customers? So they know how much they're willing to spend for a customer, let's say $1,000. How many new customers is going to satisfy you? So how many new customers can Google Ads provide you on a monthly basis that's going to satisfy you, where you're going to say, yeah, Google Ads is awesome. It's changed my business. And they might say 5. Okay, so 5 customers per month will change your business significantly, and you're willing to spend $1,000 on each. So that means you want $5,000 budgeted towards advertising, assuming that we have enough volume for that. So that can be a good way to get to budget. And then expected time frame. You want to say, assuming we can guarantee these results, how long do you think you're willing to invest in this to see whether or not it will work? So how long could you go basically net zero to see how long Google Ads will take to hit your goals and the metrics that we decided so far? And so this will give you a sense of how long-term minded they are, how long they're in the game for. This is very important. I look for numbers like 3 months, 4 months plus So if people are saying like a couple weeks, probably a red flag. I wouldn't work with the client. But if they are talking 3 months, 4 months, a year, then I know they're in this for long term. They understand that this is a thing that you need to improve and slowly get towards your goals. You don't get your goals immediately all the time, even with advertising. So if they fit, then you would push them to a sales presentation, and you can just lay that up by saying, let me put together a presentation. I have a visual display that I can go over with you. Let's set up one more call. It will be around the same time as this, and I'll just cover everything. I'll answer all your questions around pricing, process, package, features, etc. And how's that sound, right? And if they don't, if they're not ready, then you can just authentically tell them why not. And if they do, you definitely would want to soft sell in some way on the consultation call to say, okay, and assuming we can guarantee get you the results, right, that we talked about here. We just went over all your needs, all your goals. I'm confident that we can produce those results. Now, let's just hypothetically assume that I 100% can provide that for you. Assuming everything makes sense on tomorrow's call, on that sales call, will you be ready to move forward, or is there anything else that we need to address, or is there anyone who needs to be on that call with us? So questions like that are important because it will lay up that sale. It's a soft sell. They don't need to necessarily say yes. They can say, well, I'll need to know the pricing first. So, but that's important because now you have that objection. So you can keep that objection in mind when going into your sales call, and it's going to improve your ability to sell clients. So these questions are linked below this video. I know I just went over them for quite a while, but if you like this video, click like, put a comment if you have any questions. If there's any questions I've missed, definitely put them in there because I'm always looking for new ones. And subscribe, you know the deal. I'll see you in the next video. Cheers.